Hello, everyone, one and all. Welcome back into the deep, dark depths of the neon gutter. My name is Burt Cohen. We're feeling very fortunate that you've joined us again today. And when we're feeling fortunate, we immediately make plans to head to Vegas. And that's exactly what we'll be doing today. In our last couple of episodes, we talked with the gang about their most memorable trip ever, traveling to Las Vegas on just $19 a day, and how the stories from that trip launched them into early internet fame. Now, almost 30 years later, we're going to double the budget and attempt to do the same thing in 2024. Can we do it? Well, here to make the case are my two super cheap co-hosts, Matt.
Hello, and I'd like to say that it is my pleasure to disgust you.
And Dan.
Hi, guys. I'm not sure if it was my most memorable trip. I guess it's the most memorable, but I wasn't on it. So for me, it was memorable because I didn't have to go through with it.
Yes.
Correct. But you will be on this trip.
Yes.
So
I will be on this trip.
That's the exciting thing.
So I'm making new memories that I never made before, and I'm very excited.
As we all are. So again, for those of you listening, the $19 a day challenge was staying and playing in Las Vegas for $19 or less per person, including hotels, meals, transportation, entertainment, and gambling, soup to nuts. Now, in this episode, we'll give you an inside look into how we're planning to do it now and how you can also do Vegas on the cheap. So guys, I guess the first question is, why are we doing this? And why would anyone else want to do it too?
Nobody would. I think that's the answer.
Well, yeah. If I had beacons and flasks and things like that, I would cure polio, but I don't. So this is the only way I can give something of value to people is by going to Las Vegas super cheap.
Well, polio's been taken care of, luckily.
Right, exactly.
So now we can turn our attention to this.
I bet
if we had cured polio, Dr. Jonas Salk would be looking for free plays and match plays right now.
I think that's probably true.
So this is my Mount Everest, and I will admit that I did it the first time. I really had a good time. And so I've been evangelizing, doing it again ever since.
Well, I mean, to answer for you, Matt, it's all about the good stories. And
Yes.
again, the whole reason we started going to Vegas and going on the cheap is because it's a certain kind of fun when you're living in the lap of luxury, but it doesn't really make that great a story to come back and say, oh yeah, Caesar's Palace was great again. It's much more fun to be riding buses and rolling down the gutter with us.
Yes.
It's interesting that this is so many years after the first one, and we all could afford a pretty lavish vacation if we wanted. But I think we've come to.
I could afford at least $49 a day.
Yeah.
I could too,
easily. Easily $49.
It's close, but
it's just not fun. It's just not.
No,
fun.
it's not. I mean, I don't know if it's because we've ingrained this into ourselves or what the reason is, but yeah, we get to meet much more interesting people, and we also get to challenge ourselves. We have a cause while we're there. It's not just I want to lay by the pool. We have a mission.
We have a mission to cure polio.
It's a real fun challenge, and so we're doing this. We're doubling the budget just about from 30 years ago. We're making it $39 a day. But let's talk about how we got to $39 a day, because it was initially a different number. So Dan, do you want to talk a little bit about how we got to
38, 38, like Matt said. So the first trip was in the mid 90s, and Matt said, that was 25 years ago. Matt thought to just double it from 19 to 38.
Well, no, that's actually double. The inflation.
An
inflation calculator said it's exactly double. Yeah.
Honestly, I was kind of hoping to go $99 a day because it's a nice round number. It's catchy. But
okay, Rockefeller.
Matt,
I know. No kidding.
I'm apparently really well off. But then I thought, how about $69 a day? Because 69 is catchy.
That's just rude.
Yes.
Well, it's simultaneous oral sex dollars a day. It'd be kind of, it's catchy. And then I was thinking, look, $19
I said
a day.
38. It's got to be 38. That's what it is.
Matt is such a hard ass, but I'm thinking, look, it's a $20 bill with $1 back. That was the 19. What if we start with a 50? Make it $49 a day.
It's 38.
So, listeners, I know this sounds ridiculous, but we legitimately had a hour-long meeting a couple of months ago in the early stages of planning this, where we talked
I basically
and addressed
won.
Dan's concerns.
I
about
won the
budget,
conversation, and
we
got them
went
up
from
to $39.
$38 to $39.
That's right.
That's exactly that's really what happened after
Are
an
you
hour
satisfied?
discussion.
I grudgingly accept that, and the reason I grudgingly accept it is Dan made a very strong argument that 39 is funnier than 38.
It's funnier, it's catchier, and look, if you want to do 38, you can do 38, but I'm going to take that whole extra 2.5%.
Yeah. You know what? I might do it for 38, and you go ahead. You enjoy that extra cup of coffee.
Well, I'm gonna enjoy that extra cup of free coffee.
I will have the moral high road at 38.
Yeah, well, I will enjoy myself more.
Yeah, we'll see. Not with me goading you the whole time about how superior I feel.
I'm
at
just
38.
going to wave that extra dollar bill in front of your face.
All right, well, let's talk about the rules for how we're sort of setting this up and the rules that we have to go by with our challenge. First of all, we're basically going to be in Las Vegas for 72 hours, and so it's going to be 3 full days.
Yes.
So it's 39 times 3 is essentially our budget, $117 per person
each.
Right.
So basically, I'm just going to try to do this in cash. So I'm just going to have 620s and expect to leave town with some change.
All right. And there's 3 of us. And so we will be splitting 1 hotel room each night among the 3 of us. So that helps the budget a little bit. But one thing that's really important is we're not going to be using any advantages that someone else can't use as you, the listener. We're not using comps. We're not using mailers or some kind of offers that nobody off the street can get. We're doing everything that the general public can get.
Yeah.
A couple of the promotions are only available to people 50 and older. So you would have to be a certain age for a couple of those things, but it's pretty minor. Basically, everything we're doing is something that anybody could duplicate if they wanted.
Yeah, and actually I was trying to make a case for being able to bring like a ukulele or an accordion and busking for money. And because I think anyone could do that if you really, hey, memorize a poem or something. But I was convinced by Burt and Matt that that's out of the realm of what normal people do.
It's also out of the realm of what I want to listen to.
Well, you don't have to listen. You just have to tip.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. And so the clock is going to start. We're arriving on a Monday in early December, and we talked about this on an earlier episode that early December is a really good time to travel to Las Vegas if you want to do it on the cheap. Before the holidays, the only thing really going on is the rodeo to bring people into town, and a lot of people are just not in the mood for Las Vegas before the holidays, and so it's really a good time to go to get bargains. So we'll be entering town on a Monday, leaving about the same time on a Thursday, so it's 72 straight hours. So again, this is a $39 budget. What do you think, guys, based on our planning? Do you think we can beat $39 a day? Do you think we could even beat $19 a day?
I think so. I think we can. Vegas has changed a lot. And, our original fear was Vegas isn't cheap anymore. But the more we dug into it and the more we found some deals and we found some free money, things like that, I think we can do it. And I think we can potentially get under 19, potentially go even lower. And I am all hellbound to do that. I want to see how low I can go because in my life, I've gone pretty low.
That's the truth. That's why I was going to also mention we could do this for free for 72 hours by just like getting a blanket, hiding behind a dumpster, and just like waiting it out for 72 hours. But I think the idea is that at least it is a civilized trip.
It's a vacation. We're doing a vacation. We're going to be monkeying around a lot, and we're going to be gambling.
We're going to be seeing shows. We're going to be
seeing shows.
We're going to be drinking and eating and
seeing attractions.
Whole
Yep.
Yes,
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, to your point, Matt, earlier, clearly a lot has changed in Las Vegas since the mid 90s. And right now we're even coming out of an economic period with very high inflation. So prices are high. So let's talk about the challenges of doing a trip like this today versus, what it was like when you first did it for $19 a day. What kind of differences are there in Vegas between 1996 or whatever and now in 2024?
A lot of buildings have changed. I'll say that. So...
Sure.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest changes is the amount of planning that we have to do. The last time it was pretty much taken for granted. We could show up in town and do it for $19 a day as long as we were cheap. Now we're going to have to do a lot more planning and a lot more kind of ping-ponging around town to take advantage of deals. That's one of the big things. The other thing is hotels aren't nearly as cheap.
Yeah, for me, the thing that comes up is resort fees. They're so ubiquitous now in Las Vegas. It's very hard to avoid them. In the next segment, we'll talk about how we managed to get around that. But yeah, there's so many resort fees everywhere, even in the crappiest places, including the crappy places that we're going to be staying on this trip.
Yes.
So we've had to find a way to get the normal rates down so low or even free that we can afford the resort fees. So yeah,
the resort
kind of
fees,
crazy.
The hotel room rate is a fraction of the resort fee.
Isn't that crazy?
I'd be furious if I weren't getting so much value for that resort fee. Free local calls.
I know how many local calls you made.
Yes. Yep. Now you know how I'll be entertaining myself for 72 hours. I wonder if
prank
Il
calls
Fornau's
for
refrigerator is running.
I wonder if they have Prince Albert in a can.
So outside of hotel rooms, what do you think is the hardest thing to really get cheaper these days than
Food.
you could, 30 years ago?
That's
food,
right.
Food is
right.
what I would say too. There used to be so many good food deals,
It's
and they just
so
aren't
much
around
cheap.
anymore.
There were
Really
so
not.
many graveyard specials and so many 24-hour diners. First, the 24-hour restaurants are fading away, and then the graveyard specials are just disappearing.
There were great, with $1.99 steak dinners and stuff like that downtown
That were actually decent food.
Well, decent food in 1996 when we were.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
My tastes have improved, but right. I mean, you could definitely fill up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that if there's going to be a hardship on this trip, we're not going to eat. We're going to eat, but the quality of the food we eat is not going to be spectacular.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that.
That's true. Well, let's get into hotel rooms. That's really the bulk of every day's budget. It's not the majority of what we're spending each day, but it is probably the most expensive single item each day in terms of what we're spending. And we talked about how resort fees just make rooms more expensive these days because no matter how low the rate is per night at the hotel room, they've just got these mandatory fees and they do not let you get out of them unless you're a super high roller at some casino. There's no way to get out of the resort fees. So, so that's tough. So we've had to figure out a way to get around that. And so as we were planning this, we kind of set a upper limit of anything that we would even consider booking of $60 a night with resort fee and tax and everything that was included. That
So
would be
$20
per person. $20 per person. Yeah. And so, Matt, why don't you talk a little bit about the steps that we went through in terms of getting hotel rooms for something that we could afford in this ridiculous budget?
Well, you did quite a bit of the work on finding one of the places we stayed in, and I think Dan and I will forever not forgive you for that. But another place we went was an app called My Vegas, which is provided by MGM, where you play slots on your phone and you earn loyalty points for free. They give you a million opportunities to spend money in the app, but just avoid that at all costs. Do the free slots, earn loyalty points, and you can exchange those for a quote unquote free room, it is a free room. So we'll be staying like at the Luxor for free plus $42 for a resort fee.
Wow.
So yeah. So the room is free, but we're paying a $42 resort fee. So one night we're staying at the Luxor. That's going to be the nicest night of the trip.
That's the classy joint.
Yes, and the Luxor is not what it once was.
But we're going to be smelling Nathan's hot dogs all night.
Yes, we will.
That casino. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, depending on how the showers at the first place work, we might also be smelling each other. But the other place you found, and you basically did it just by scouring consolidators, right?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that. If you look at a lot of Vegas message boards, actually people will discourage you from using any hotel aggregators. But I will tell you from doing a lot of research over the last few months trying to figure out how to do this trip, they definitely are cheaper than booking with the hotel directly, almost for anything, especially with cheaper places. So I'll say like some of the aggregators that are really good that I found, consistently had the lowest rates were Priceline,
Always
and
good.
an aggregator called Skyscanner, which I think is European, but they scour a lot of the other aggregators. It's one of those aggregators of aggregators that look for the
I always
lowest
pronounce it
rates.
Sky's Canner.
But we ended up booking a room with a place called Holisto.com, and that's not something that I'd even heard of before. It's a little dicey,
Wow.
and
I think
people
it's
have had
also
some-
European, somewhere
Okay.
based somewhere in Europe.
and I think that there's been some bad feedback about it, but it's generally from people that need to have some customer service.
Bad
in-
feedback is
revolved-
our middle name. I mean, that's
They've met their match.
right.
So we'll see how that goes. We haven't used the room yet. We haven't checked in yet to make sure everything has gone fine, but that's how we booked it. But I will say, for all of these sites, sometimes the rates that are quoted to you are too good to be true, including
Yes.
Priceline. And I think some of the stuff is just downright should be illegal.
Dishonest.
And
Yeah.
yeah, even with Priceline, which is a very up and up company, for the most part, they will quote you rates that legitimately leave out the resort fee.
Yeah.
Even though they're quoting you other room categories that have the resort fee in it. And this isn't just an accident that you sort of stumble on once in a while. It happens all the time, over and over again. They have to be aware of it. It's not like some weird company that doesn't know what's going on in Las Vegas. They book 1 million rooms in Las Vegas. They know what the resort fees are. So just be careful. Make sure
Yes.
that before you book a room, if you're worried as much as we are about the price, make sure you know that the resort fee is or is not included in that rate before you
Read
go ahead
the
and book,
fine
especially
print.
something
Buyer
that's
beware.
non-refundable. Sometimes the fine print does not even say it.
That's true.
Oh.
You have to get through
You have
to
to
like
research. You have to research on your own to
Yeah.
know this room definitely has a resort fee and it's not being quoted in my rate. Sometimes it says it in the fine print. Sometimes it really doesn't, and so you just have to be savvy enough to know
Wow.
whether it's
And-
being quoted or not.
And we're that savvy, so I guarantee that the people listening are at least that savvy.
So I'm curious how much of My Vegas app you had to play to get this.
Way
free
too
room at
much.
Luxor.
You
It's
get
a
to a
lot.
point you don't really play it. You just turn it on, you check it 10 minutes later, and you're done.
Wow.
There are games within it where you don't have to do anything except just let it run itself. So that's what you
see.
do, because it's soul sucking.
Yeah,
It
I
is
believe it. I
soul-sucking.
mean,
Yeah.
Vegas slots in person can be soul sucking. So
To get a free room, it does take weeks of time,
Yeah.
playing every day. But to Matt's point, you get to a point where it's just a few minutes and you can leave it just be on its own and roll, and you don't have to do anything with it necessarily.
Yeah.
So that makes it tolerable. And again, do not spend any of your
Right.
own money on these apps.
They have 1 million come-ons in there for you to give them your credit card information. Never give them your credit card information in the game. Never buy anything in the game. Just play the slots, get your loyalty points, and get the hell out.
For sure. So I'll mention that after a while of doing research too, we sort of narrowed down the hotels that could ever even be within our budget at all. That sort of $60 a night limit, and some of those are downtown is the Downtowner. Occasionally got within our
Yeah.
budget range. The Apache, at Binion's. Four Queens did eventually, for a long time it was not in our budget, and then as we got a little bit closer, it did come down into our budget.
And we should make a point that the Four Queens and the Apache are both owned by the same company, and they are the only two hotels that I know of, casino hotels, that have no resort fee.
Correct.
So they're the only ones where the
Correct.
price quoted is the actual price.
Right. The price that they quote is the price that you will really get, plus the 13% tax.
Yeah.
There's the Thunderbird, the old Stupak casino that's now sort of a motel on Las Vegas Boulevard, and the Mardi Gras, which is a place I've never been in or stayed or know anyone that stayed there, but they do have decent rates. It look like spacious rooms, and their resort fee or amenity fee is only like $5 or $6 a night. So it made it as a place, and I think the location is not too bad. I think it's just south of the West Gate on Paradise.
Yeah.
So that was something else that we considered. We ended up staying, or we will be staying at a Super 8
Yay.
Wyndham Motel on Las Vegas Boulevard in the Naked City, not too far from the Thunderbird, I think.
And you said across the street from a wedding chapel.
No, next door to a wedding chapel.
Nice.
So the Naked City is, again, somewhere between the Stratosphere and downtown. So a desolate stretch of road that has not gentrified yet.
Yeah, it's gonna be sleazy, and it's nice that we don't have to watch TV. We can just go over and see what's going on at the wedding chapel.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Well, guys, while booking a hotel in Las Vegas might be the biggest financial piece of our puzzle, a trip to Vegas comes with many other expenses, of course. So coming up, we'll talk about how we plan to squeeze every penny of savings out of the desert sands, including all the places you can get free food, free drinks, free shows, free gambling, and most importantly, free cash. That you can use to subsidize your trip. These things still do exist in Las Vegas, believe it or not, and we'll talk about them right after this. Don't go away.
Don't go away.
not yet.
They're hot, they're new, they're sexy.
Hot lips, ooh, I'm on fire.
It's Novair Alaman's Hot Lips Review.
Hot lips, I'm gonna give you my love.
Hot Lips, starring Pete Barbuti, and the other hot show, The Heat Is On, starring the Mail Express. This TV station will not allow Novair Alaman's Hot Lips to bear all. You'll have to come to the Paddle Wheel Hotel to see the most sensational show in town. Showtimes are 7:30 for The Heat Is On, and 9 and 11 for
Hot lips.
Hello, I'm world-famous toy horse handicapper Lucky Ned. I know the listeners of the Neon Gutter love Sigma Derby as much as we do, so we're going to bring you races at home or wherever you listen to the podcast. Could be in your car or on a walk with the dog. Could be on the turlet. I'm going to give you the odds for the next race, and you can bet as many quarters as you want on the outcome. After the next part of the podcast, we'll return and give you a live call of the race as it happens with all the excitement you can handle. Giddy cup, giddy cup, giddy cup, giddy cup, giddy cup. Get your pencils ready. Here are the odds for the next race. The combinational horses 1 and 2 are listed at 16 to 1, while 1 and 3 is a measly 2 to 1. That's called your favorite. It never pays off. 1 to 4 is 7 to 1, and 1 to 5 is 9 to 1. 2 to 3 is slotted at 14 to 1, 2-4 climbs up to 52 to 1, and 2-5 is the day's long shot special at 67 to 1. 67 quarters for 1 quarter. Finally, we got 3-4, that's 6 to 1, 3-5 is 8 to 1, and finishing us up is 4-5 at 29 to 1. I'm looking carefully at this. There's a little bit of frost under the glass, so it's a cold day. My expert opinion is that you should always do what works. So if you want an outside chance of winning a ton of dough, bet on the outside horses. I'm betting the farm on the 4-5 combination, 29 to 1. No, don't thank me for the advice. You can just send me half your winnings and we'll call it square. I'll see you again after the next segment for a live call of the race. I'm Lucky Ned, and you go with guts.
Thanks for returning, everybody, to the Neon Gutter. We've been talking
Well, they didn't go away. I told them not to go away, and they didn't.
Yes, thank you,
I'm
Dan,
sorry to
for
interrupt.
reinforcing
Yes.
that. That's okay.
They just sat with their hands folded.
They were afraid that the podcast would just keep going without them, and they'd never be able to listen to the rest of it if they went away.
That's right. We'll just stop. We'll stop if we have to.
So we've been talking about taking a stupid idea from nearly 30 years ago, doing Vegas on $19 a day, and making it even stupider by attempting it today with just a few modifications. So one of the key ways we're looking to save money and actually subsidize our budget is through match play and free play opportunities. And these are more rare now than they used to be, but they still do exist. And similar to booking cheap hotel rooms, the My Vegas app is helpful in this regard. So Matt, why don't you describe how you can get free play and essentially free money with My Vegas?
So just like getting the hotel rooms through My Vegas, you can also get free play. They have many levels of free play. A lot of them again, it's false advertising or misleading advertising. They say, we'll give you $100 free play. And then when you read the fine print, you actually have to stay at the hotel and pay for a room at the hotel to get that free play.
For multiple nights.
Yes, there is a small handful of $25 free slot plays that you can get without any hotel room reservation.
And these are free. You just get this free.
Yes.
Yep.
And they're called the Konami free slot play.
So they're on a different app, actually.
Yes.
You can earn the points on the My Vegas app, but you redeem the points on an app called Konami Slots.
Yes.
Isn't Konami the company that makes slot machines?
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
got it.
Yep. And so we got enough of the loyalty points to get, I don't know, somewhere between $75 and $100 worth of free slot play, which doesn't mean we're going to get $100 out of it, but we'll get $100 worth of free slot play, and who knows how much we'll get out of that. And Burt, you can maybe explain a little bit about how we figure how much we're getting from that.
It calculates out to about $10,000 for each of us.
Yes.
If
On
I'm not
top
mistaken.
of the 39.
Give or take, yeah.
Well, I've gotten, because of the My Vegas app, I've gotten really good at playing slots.
I bet.
This is true. Matt
Come
and I
on,
have
Matt,
talked about how
you can get it.
I'm still a much better poker player than Matt, but he is definitely a better slot player than I am.
Because only one of those takes skill.
So the way we're kind of budgeting our match play and free play budget is with free play, we're conservatively hoping that we can get back 75% of whatever the free play amount is. And that means, probably using that free play on some fullish play, video poker if possible, and hope to get back 75%. So if we have $10 in free play from a place and we can cash out up to $7.50, $7.50 comes out of our budget or adds to our budget, I should say. If we don't cash anything out, we don't incur anything into our budget. And if we win a jackpot of $150, only $750 can go to our budget for this trip. So we can't go have a steak dinner that night. So only $7.50 or 75% of whatever that free play is can we use.
But I think at the end of the
most.
trip report, we'd be able to tell that we walked out with profit.
Sure.
If we did, Greg got it.
We'll be keeping track of.
Well, I got my fingers
from
crossed
everywhere,
already.
for sure.
But the reason to cap it at 75% expectation is to make this as available to anyone,
Right.
Yeah.
This is how you could do it as well, because this is about what you should expect.
You don't have
as well.
to win the $10,000 that we're going to win in order to have the kind of time.
Exactly right. Now, keep in mind, too, some of the free plays, as you'll see on the website when we detail every single place that we go to, a lot of the free play comes from Players Club sign-up bonuses that are places you may already have a card and are not eligible to get free play by signing up for a new account. Some of the places, we've been going to Vegas, obviously, for years, but some of the places we're going to be stopping at, we haven't stepped into for 15, 20 years maybe. And so I think we'll have a good shot at being considered a new customer. And some places we just haven't signed up for at all. And some places you don't have to be a new customer.
Yes. Well, we held off on signing up for Fontainebleau in preparation for this trip. So we wouldn't have that $15 credit when we signed up a while ago. We'll have that credit this time.
Did you mean Fontainebleau?
Fontainebleau.
There you go.
That's right. So they have at the moment that we're recording this, they have a very good promotion that they've had since opening, which is $15 in free play plus $15 in food credit for anybody that signs up. So we'll be taking advantage of that for sure. And thankfully, we're going very soon after recording this because Fontainebleau is already laying off employees just about a year into their opening. So I think they're not doing that great, and they may be cutting back on generous promotions pretty soon.
That property is cursed. It's sat empty for 15 years. I think there's a curse there.
Yep. So let's talk about match plays. What's the difference between a match play and free play?
Well, a match play, you actually have to put your own money up. You have to match.
So
if
you're putting your own money at risk.
Yeah, if I have a $25 match play, I have to put $25 of my own money in order to win. If I win $50, so I get my original $25 back plus $50 in winnings. But I could lose my $25, and then my budget for that day is $14.
unless you're able to
lot of
stew
those,
pack
we're gonna
your
stew pack
match
it.
play.
Yes.
And listeners of this podcast will know what stew packing is. It's basically, at roulette, one person puts one on red and one person puts it on black, or at craps, pass and don't pass. And you guarantee yourself a return. So
One
we'll
of
be
you
doing some
wins,
that
one
for
of you
sure.
loses. So,
Yep.
yeah.
But the one that wins
bet-
wins 50% more, so you guarantee yourself that
Yep.
profit. Yeah. And there's actually one bonus for a sportsbook app at Station Casinos that we'll be trying to take
nice.
advantage of with a $50 no-risk bet. So you can bet $50 on their sportsbook app, and if you lose the bet, you get that reimbursed instantly, and you can cash that out. It's not like a lot of places, a $50 bet that you have to bet again. It's actual cash that you can cash out of your account.
That's a crazy offer. I mean, that sounds too good to be true.
The sportsbook app market is so cutthroat right now. The cost of
I
acquiring
see.
new customers is so high that there's just
Exactly.
insane deals.
Yeah, this kind of like can't lose bet. That's nuts. So if you win, you win. If you lose, you get your cash back.
But now you're in their system and you've got their app on your phone, and
Yeah,
when you
that makes
next
sense.
time you want to bet on a basketball game, I've got the app right here.
I love it because they're gonna. Yeah, I'm so not their customer that I will never return, but I'm happy to take advantage of that free offer.
And one nice thing about that is that Stations manages the sports book at El Cortez, so we can do that at El Cortez.
Oh, nice.
We don't have to go
Favorite place.
way out of the way to go to a Stations property to do it.
And speaking of the El Cortez, they have a promotion where you show your boarding pass at the club, and you get a free play out of that, and a free drink, and that sort of thing as well. And then, of course, the hotels that are owned together with the D and Circa and so forth, they've got some secret match plays. We'll see if how well we can take advantage of those, and we'll report back on those after our trip. But we're hoping to take advantage of those match plays as much as possible as well.
I really
from those
hope we'll
hotels.
post this spreadsheet on the website because the two of you
We
have
will.
done so much
For sure,
research.
for sure.
And I feel like I'm just copying your homework because it's a ton of work. And the list of things and where all this free credit is coming from, it's kind of astonishing. Especially when we were at $38 a day, I was thinking maybe I'd get sick that weekend. But now I'm just so excited, especially because I didn't have to do any of the legwork. Plus the 39, of course. Between the extra dollar and like just seeing the plan, it's like this is going to be really stupid fun.
I'm really happy to share what we've learned with you, Dan, in exchange for you carrying the luggage all week.
You got it.
All right.
Put it on my back.
All right.
Yes, I will.
Okay, so another big thing obviously is food. We talked a little bit about food, but the Fontainebleau has that $15 dining credit, but as we also talked about, prices for food in Vegas just have changed maybe more than
So
anything
much.
else, even more than rooms.
Yeah.
Outside of maybe parking is so different too these
yeah,
days. But
parking.
let's talk about how we're going to
Used to be
survive for
free.
3 days without starving to death.
I'm going to start by eating Matt's arm.
I'm kind of
Start with that. I think that's
yeah.
more of that's
Right?
not an amuse-bouche.
Yeah.
That's something that you should have a little bit later in the meal.
Later, okay.
You want to
Yeah.
eyeball or brains to start.
Brain sounds good. I'll be starving if I eat your brain.
Our budget is a little hot dog heavy. There's some good meals in there. Like the last place that I know of that has a really great late night menu is the South Point, which is way down south, but there is a bus that goes there after midnight.
But that's like far, far down the street.
Yes.
That's like past.
It's as far
It's
as
not even on the
far
strip.
as the
It's
coast.
it's
Oh,
like
it's not.
5 miles south of or more south.
Is that past M?
No, it's before M.
Before M.
But
okay.
it's way down there. But they still have like full meals for $3 or $4 after midnight, like full meals, a hamburger or a full breakfast or I forget what all, chicken, full meals.
So when we're talking egg equivalents, we're talking. a good
We're talking 6, 7, 8 eggs. Yeah.
egg equivalent.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep that in mind. We'll have to monitor our egg equivalencies. So that's one of them. And then we've got the Silver Point, which has a $15 dining credit through American Casino Guide, which can almost
Silverton,
cover.
I think.
Silverton, not Silver Point. Silverton, you're right. I think that can almost cover a breakfast or a sandwich, something like that.
Oh, at least for sure. Yeah, I think you can get a decent meal for $15 or add a few more, make it a $3 meal for us.
Yeah,
and
right.
You get a pretty decent meal over there for sure.
Yeah, and then we're gonna also, for breakfast, a lot of the breakfast, we'll go to a supermarket and we'll get granola bars and fruit and things like that, and and then we'll have coffee at the hotel, which is a nice thing. So we can have coffee and
Free
we can
coffee.
have some fruit and some granola bars for breakfast, and that shouldn't cost us more than $2 or $3 a day, right? To eat a decent breakfast. But there are some
absolutely.
shrimp cocktails and hot dogs in there, which
There's
Nice.
but it's I think there's only one hot dog on our list at the moment.
Is there?
Or
Okay.
maybe
I
there's
think there's
two.
two.
A few
But
pizza
there might
slices
be
or
there might be a
something?
couple of shrimp cocktails, but
yeah.
but I think we're gonna eat okay.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
Depending on how we do, at the end of the trip, we might decide to upgrade our meal, depending on where we are with our budget and how well we do with the match plays and
That's a
the
good point.
free plays.
Right.
And so forth.
Should point out that one of the places where we were planning on having a meal closed very recently after a poor inspection by the health department. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they are
Where
no
was
longer
that?
in business. What's that?
Where was that?
That was the Ocean One in the behind the Planet Hollywood.
Yeah, the Planet
And their
Hollywood
whole
kind of
menu-
mall area.
Yeah, their whole menu was $5.99 at lunch, so you get like anything for $5.99 for lunch. But they didn't do so
they had
well.
three
on their health
cocktails for
department.
$15.
Yeah,
Isn't that funny? I'm both sad that they went away and also now relieved that they went away. It's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. That's absolutely true. We had that as a staple on our meal planning for a while, but that has just gone away. So we had to pivot a little bit. We'll get away from the meals and finish up with fun stuff, because it's not just going and staying and traveling and
Right, because we could do
eating.
like $9 a day just by meditating all day.
yes.
Sure. Meditating on the bus. But thankfully there are still some fun things you can do in Vegas that you
Yeah.
can't do anywhere else. And so let's talk about some of the fun stuff we have planned. What are you guys looking to do?
Well, I'm looking forward to Sigma Derby. And it's only
Sigma
a quarter
Derby
at a time,
always,
but
of
there is a
course.
budget there. And with just doing one quarter at a time and screaming at the top of our lungs, that could be an hour for, $4.
Well, what if one of us bets on a race and we all cheer on it, and then the next guy bets on a race.
Oh,
We all cheer on it. The other thing
can
too
really
is
milk it.
the other thing too is when you take money out of your budget to gamble with, you can keep gambling with that money, and you can gamble with your winnings. Your winnings can't be spent on anything else. So if you play Sigma Derby and you hit a 16-1, now you've got $4 in quarters that you can keep playing Sigma Derby with.
Yay. That's what I'm going to do then.
You just can't use that
I'm
for
gonna
food
win.
or
Lodging
new
or-
shoes
yeah,
or anything like that.
anything else.
No. So another really fun thing to do for free is the archive, the UNLV archive.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. We had so much fun going
Yeah.
there about a year ago, and
We could just spend all day there.
researching
It's
stuff.
so
Yes.
fascinating.
it's wonderful. It really is. If you listeners are at all interested in Las Vegas history like we are, it's really a great
my
place to
gosh.
go. And
They've
just
got
play around
boxes and boxes of materials,
Anything you can imagine, yeah.
publications,
If
flyers.
you've got a question, what happened to or what was here before this, or anything like that, it's just an amazing place to spend a day. And you have gifted us, well, you haven't gifted us, you've gifted us the effort for us to each pay, what, $3.30 to play KISS mini golf?
That's right. That's right. That was an eBay special. There is a vendor on eBay who sells gift certificates for a few very cheap shows and some other cheap stuff, including, yes, a full round of mini golf for 4 people at the Rio for $10, all in.
God. I can't wait for the bath.
So we're splitting it just 3 ways, so it's $3.30 a person instead of $2.50. But we get a full round for our whole group for under $10. So
You guys, we
that's
should
pretty
find
good.
somebody to be our fourth.
I know. And charge them
yeah.
like
We
$10.
could. We could do that. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Definitely that.
They can carry our clubs too, maybe, and only charge them $5.
Yeah, if there's anyone around that, hey, you want a free round of mini golf with us? Then they can. Yeah,
I know you put the Pinball Museum on the list. That's another one where, a couple quarters can go a while.
Sure.
I could actually
just to walk
spend-
around there is always fun.
Yeah.
I could spend $39 a day just at the Pinball Museum, so
Yeah.
I have to be a little careful there.
They sell machines that are 5-ball machines for a quarter. in the older
Yeah.
pinball area. So
Yep.
And of course, there's some free karaoke shows in town. Do you guys have a go-to karaoke song?
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm going with Hot Rod Lincoln. That's a great song to do for karaoke.
Well, I think, Dan, you and I, there's a duet we can do. We just have to settle once and for all the debate over who's ebony and who's ivory.
That's a good question. That's right. And, this could be the chance to do, I could try Crazy for Being So Lonely one more time. It's a bit of a performance art
Last
piece
time he
that
didn't
I
get all
do.
the way through it without crying, so.
Well, because I had just broken up.
Yeah.
And I had to leave in the middle.
All right. Well, one thing we haven't mentioned yet is transportation. And as you've probably noticed, we're going to be traveling all over the Las Vegas
Yes.
Valley on this trip. So in order to do that, we'll be purchasing a 3-day CAT bus pass, which you can do in an app. It costs $20 total for the 3 days per person for the trip. So
That's great.
It's just over $6 a person. We can get just about wherever we need to go. You won't be that fast.
Nope.
Is it just the
we can
strip
get there.
or is there
Everywhere.
off?
It's
the entire Las Vegas
entire
Valley.
system.
Fantastic.
It's the entire system.
Including the Deuce, which for other people is more expensive than other buses, but for us the Deuce is included.
And the Deuce is
being
just the
last
strip.
The Deuce is the double decker on the strip. So I mean, just for fun, we can sit up top on the Deuce, and that would be a wonderful place to just tell everyone around us what we're doing and how cheap it is. And I'm sure they just love to hear us talk
I'm
and
sure.
talk and talk.
The double deuce.
Yeah, the double
Yeah,
Deuce.
that's where the people with podcasts go to promote their podcasts. There will be at least 3 other podcasts. hosts
Well, at least we
up on
finally
the
found
double
someplace.
Look, if we don't run into any crazies on the bus, we're going to have to be the crazies ourselves. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, it is like the poker table. Like if you don't see the fish at the table, that means it's you. So if you're on the bus and you don't see the crazy person, that's because
It's you.
So maybe only two of us should be podcasting from the top of the bus, so the third person can be yelling at the other podcasters to get out of our shot.
Of course, you mentioned this too. The cat bus is going to be great, but there's a lot of hoofing that's going to go on. I think we're going to be walking a lot, and I actually did invest in a pair of. Actually, I have extras if you want of compression socks because I feel like that'll help. And they came in a 4-pack, so if you want, I'll bring you each a pair. If you're into, I don't know how helpful that'll be, but. I did a practice walk all the way down to downtown Oakland from out here in Richmond, and the socks seem to help. So
All right. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of walking.
a lot of walking.
It'll be a lot of walking for sure. So, but between the bus and a comfortable pair of shoes and maybe some compression socks, we should be able to get just about anywhere we need to go.
Yeah.
But
And a
don't
camel.
you go away.
And a camel.
Don't you go away, because
Yeah.
after one more quick break, we'll talk about what each of us is looking forward to do on this epic adventure of austerity, and maybe more importantly, what each of us is dreading the most. So stick around.
Fold your hands and sit quietly.
Are you worried? Do you have problems in love, life, and business matters? Come see Wharton's Palmistry Studios, palm and spiritual readers who have helped many during their 27 years in Las Vegas. At their 2 licensed offices, they feature palm, spiritual, and card readings, and will advise you on all matters of life. They will also cater your party or convention at 1441 Las Vegas Boulevard South between Oakey and Charleston, or 1639 East Charleston next to Arby's. Wharton's Palmistry Studios, since 1958.
And now it's time for the Neon Gutters Sigma Derby Race of the Week.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Neon Gutters little segment here on the Sigma Derby. You can win 4,000 coins at one point, but not on this race because there's no 200-to-1 bets. I'm taking horses 3, 5 at 8 to 1. Matt's got it on 1, 2 at 16 to 1, and Burt's on 1, 5, which is 9 to 1. Any of us win it, we're going to be sitting pretty. We're going to have a lot of quarters to jingle in the pockets. We're drinking beer, we're drinking cocktails, having a good time. Wish you were here with us. And there they go, off from the starting line. We've got them all pretty much neck and neck, nose to nose, tail to tail. There's nobody in the lead, there's nobody behind. They are just neck and neck. This is amazing. Nobody's taking a lead, nobody's dropping back. They are fighting, they're fighting for it. Blood is flying, foam is flying, there's spittle everywhere. I think somebody just took a shit on the track. They're changing lanes, they're crashing into each other. This is insane, the jockeys are whipping, and at the end, it's 2-3, which I did not have. at that time. Somebody got it. Somebody got it, but we all lost here. We hope you picked the right ones looking at those odds. We're all very disappointed, and now we're going to go hang our heads and maybe get back to the episode, which we hope will be more fun than this game. This sucks.
Hey, it's Lucky Ned again. Did you win on that race? I know I did. If you didn't, you should try to be luckier. The more you win, the luckier you are. It's a very simple mathematical formula, but not everyone understands it. Now, if you want to get more highly advanced advice on betting the toy equines, you can go to neongutter.com and download my Sigma Derby Incredi system at no cost to you. But boy, is it going to pay off. We're going to have more Sigma Derby action for you on the next episode, so tune in. And now back to the show.
Welcome back to the Neon Gutter. So, boys, our $39 a day trip is rapidly approaching. What are you most looking forward to and least looking forward to?
I think I'm most nervous about the food, honestly. The thing I'm most looking forward to is just hanging out with you guys. It's just going to be a blast. I'm very excited about that, and just to have a couple days to goof around. Can't beat it. And the thing I'm worried about is the food. I don't know why that's been such a thing for me. Like, I guess just being who I am in the first world, I can eat when I'm hungry. There's snacks. I don't worry about it. And having to worry about it makes me nervous about it. So that's kind of the thing I'm most nervous about. And also the fact that the quality of the food is going to be under what I'm used to, is my guess.
Fair enough.
I'm going to be throwing up a lot. That's what I'm trying to say.
I am most looking forward to meeting people and, being at the fringe in the gutter and meeting the other characters in the gutter and hearing their stories and how they got there, and just meeting people on the buses, meeting people at 4 a.m. between the stratosphere and the downtown. Yes. Who else is out and why are they out?
Who's getting married?
Who's getting married, and would you like us to watch? Well, too bad. We're going to watch anyway. And then, and you know what? Maybe they'll invite us to their reception. Would that count? Could we have free food at their reception, or if they invite us to go to...
if they serve free food, that counts. Yeah. We get that.
Okay, and the thing I'm least looking forward to is spending 3 nights in a room with 2 guys with very bad diets.
Fair.
Also fair enough. And I think for me, the thing that I'm most looking forward to is also the thing I'm least looking forward to. And we're planning to do a walk from very far south at the South Point, having a meal at their midnight menu, and then walking all the way in the middle of the night from South Point all the way up to North Las Vegas and Jerry's Nugget, which is about 13 miles, I think.
Yeah. That's a long walk.
That's good. And a long walk in the middle of the night. It's going to be cold. It's going to be dark. It's going to be lonely. But I think it's also going to be hilariously fun. So
I think we're going to get some fantastic photos on that walk, and we're going to see a lot of Las Vegas that we didn't even know existed.
I think that's
correct.
True. Correct. Are you going to carry mace? Just out of curiosity.
No, I'm just going to walk behind you guys.
I'm going to carry a mace.
All right. So finally, what do you guys think? Are we going to stay under budget? Could we beat $19 a day? Could we, dare I say, even get under $0 a day? Do you think it's possible?
That would be wonderful.
My God.
I feel confident we'll get under 39. I think there's a 50% chance of getting under 19. I think there's a 10% chance of getting under 0.
Okay.
But I'm hell-bent to do it. Like, I am more than happy to. I think this is where there's going to be some friction, particularly between Dan and me, as to how low I'm willing to go. He's probably not. He's a good sport, but he's not that cheap.
I think there's also a 1% chance that I might spend more than $200 a day. That's between you and me, listener.
Do Band-Aids, do they come out of our budget?
I haven't put that on the spreadsheet, but I think we might have to make a line item there.
Anything you buy.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. And thank you listeners for listening. We hope that you got some good money-saving insights, and maybe you'll attempt your own cheapo trip. Can you beat our budget?
Yeah.
Sure, a trip like this is stupid and an uncomfortable waste of time, but considering you're listening to this podcast, it seems like maybe you're into stupid, uncomfortable wastes of time.
You're probably on a bus in Las Vegas right now.
You're on the second floor.
Whether you are or not, we hope that you will join us on the next episode of The Neon Gutter. We'll see you then.
See you then.
Bye, if we're still alive.
The cash won't last.
Neon Gutter is a Big Empire production. Randy Jan is executive producer. Our incredible theme music is courtesy of Ross and Coffin. Do you have something to say? Call our voicemail line at 775-400-2941. And for more episodes, vintage photographs, and video, contact info and those amazing trip reports. Visit us at neongutter.com.
Vegas Haiku, number 10. 99, 69, 49, 38, 39.
Well, here to make the case are my two
Super Choop.
Seeper Trooper.
That's going to be on the blooper reel.